Have you ever felt a distance in your heart, as if your connection with Allah is slipping away quietly, almost unnoticed? You pray, you read, you make dua, yet deep inside there's a longing, a whisper that something is missing. Imagine waking up with a heavy heart, yet realizing that Allah had already written relief for you long before you even knew to ask for it. How often do we overlook the subtle ways He calls us closer in the rush of our busy lives, the distractions of this world, and the weight of our own doubts? Today, I want to guide you through 5 steps that can transform your relationship with Allah. Steps that are not just theoretical, but alive, practical, and deeply nurturing to your soul. If you find yourself seeking that closeness, if your heart longs to feel His presence more vividly, then this reminder is for you. Before we continue, I invite you to join this journey fully. Like this video, share it with someone who may need this guidance, and subscribe to be part of a community striving to live with purpose and faith. These 5 steps will only truly take root if your heart is open to the reflection and action they require. Have you ever noticed how life can weigh upon your heart in ways that seem almost invisible to others? You wake up in the morning and the world expects you to be cheerful, productive, ready to take on the day. And yet, inside, your heart feels heavy, burdened with worry about work, family, or perhaps the future itself. These worries are not small. They shape the way you think, the way you act, even the way you pray. And it is here, in these very moments, that your connection with Allah can either be strengthened or quietly eroded. Many of us try to cope by keeping busy, filling our days with endless tasks, thinking that if we just move fast enough, the heaviness will disappear. But the heart does not lie. It speaks in moments of quiet, when the day slows down and the soul notices what the mind has been trying to ignore. Imagine for a moment, you are sitting quietly, perhaps after prayer, and the thoughts come, worries about money, fear of what others think, doubts about whether your efforts are enough. These are not punishments. No, my dear brothers and sisters, they are signs, a call from Allah for you to pause, to reflect, to return. It is so easy to let these distractions dominate our lives. How often do we find ourselves anxious over things that may never even happen? The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us the value of trust in Allah, the importance of leaning upon Him with our hearts and our actions, and yet we struggle. Why? Because trust is not just a word, it is a practice, a habit, a conscious surrender to Allah's wisdom. It begins by noticing the tension in your heart, by admitting to yourself that perhaps you have been carrying burdens that were never yours to carry alone. I want you to imagine something with me. Picture waking up tomorrow morning with a heart unburdened by yesterday's worries. Imagine feeling a lightness that comes not from the absence of problems, but from knowing deep down that Allah is with you in every struggle. This is not a dream, it is possible. And the first step begins with awareness. Awareness that your worries are not enemies, but signals. They are reminders that your soul needs care, that your connection with Allah requires attention. Many people ask me, Mufti Menk, how do I find peace in the midst of my struggles? And I always begin with the simplest truth. Peace is not found in controlling the world. Peace is found in submitting your heart to Allah. It is found in small, deliberate acts, pausing for prayer even when the world rushes past, reciting words of remembrance that slow your racing thoughts, and reminding yourself that nothing escapes the knowledge of Allah. Each worry, each anxious thought, each doubt, He already knows and He already has a plan. This is the first step toward deepening your connection with Allah, understanding that your daily struggles are not random but part of a divine tapestry, carefully woven with wisdom beyond your comprehension. You may feel that life is overwhelming, that people are demanding too much, that the weight of responsibility is too heavy. And you are right in a sense. Life is demanding, but it is also purposeful. Every challenge, every trial, every moment of tension is an opportunity to turn your heart back to Allah, to remind yourself that you are never alone, even when the world feels harsh or indifferent. Pause for a moment and reflect. What worries are you carrying today that do not belong to you? What anxieties are keeping you from feeling Allah's closeness? Perhaps it is the fear of failure, or the desire to please everyone around you, or the constant striving for things that fade with time. These are the very distractions that prevent the heart from fully opening to Allah. And the solution is not to eliminate the challenges, but to reframe them, to see them as invitations, gentle nudges guiding you back to the Creator. As we begin this journey together, remember this: no one is exempt from struggle. Even the most faithful among us have moments of doubt, moments of heaviness, moments where the heart feels distant. What distinguishes a believer is not the absence of these feelings, but the response to them. The believer looks inward, seeks Allah, and takes deliberate steps toward Him, even in the midst of difficulty. Awareness, reflection, and conscious effort. These are the seeds from which the connection with Allah grows, slowly but surely, until it becomes a part of every breath, every action, every thought. Now, let us think about the routines of our daily lives. Often, we move through the day almost mechanically, waking up, preparing for work, attending to responsibilities, interacting with family and colleagues, yet never truly feeling present. How often do we perform our prayers hurriedly, our words rushing out without meaning, our hearts distracted by yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's uncertainties? Imagine standing in front of Allah, hands raised in dua, yet your mind wandering elsewhere, and ask yourself, is this the connection I truly desire? Is this the closeness my soul longs for? The reality is, my dear brothers and sisters, that our routines, if left unchecked, can dull the heart. Life's busyness is not inherently bad, but it becomes a problem when it prevents us from pausing, reflecting, and remembering Allah in every moment. Every breath, every glance, every heartbeat can be an opportunity to draw nearer to Him. Yet, we often let these moments slip, thinking we will pray more tomorrow or remember Allah later. And tomorrow comes, and tomorrow slips away in the same endless cycle, leaving the heart quietly yearning, quietly distant. Here is a simple truth that I want you to carry with you. Closeness to Allah is not found in perfection, but in effort. It is found in turning your heart toward Him consistently, even when it feels heavy, even when the mind resists, even when the soul feels dry. Imagine a child learning to walk. They fall countless times, stumble, and yet they continue to rise one step at a time. This is how the heart learns to walk toward Allah. It takes patience, persistence, and awareness. Consider for a moment the subtle ways Allah reaches out to us each day. Perhaps it is in the quiet of the early morning when the world is still and you can hear your own heartbeat. Perhaps it is in the smile of a loved one or in a moment of kindness from a stranger. Perhaps it is in the very challenges you face, the debts you struggle to repay, the difficult conversations you must have, the decisions that feel impossible. These are not random. They are the gentle reminders that Allah is present, that His guidance is all around, and that your heart is being called back to Him. And so, the first step in deepening your connection with Allah is awareness of your struggles, awareness of your routines, awareness of the subtle distractions that pull your heart away. Awareness is not judgment, it is recognition. It is pausing in the middle of a busy day and asking, where is my heart right now? Am I rushing through life, or am I living with consciousness of Allah? Are my prayers just words, or are they bridges connecting me to my Creator? These questions are not meant to overwhelm you. They are invitations to awaken, to feel, to return. But awareness alone is not enough. Awareness must lead to action. Every time you notice your mind wandering, bring it back. Every time you feel anxious about the future, place your trust in Allah. Every time your heart feels heavy, raise your hands in dua, no matter how simple the words may be. Small actions repeated daily build a habit, and habits shape the soul. Imagine filling a cup drop by drop. The heart is no different. Consistent, mindful efforts accumulate into a reservoir of connection, a closeness that cannot be measured but is deeply felt. Finally, reflect on this. Worry, distraction, and the busyness of life are not signs that Allah has abandoned you. Rather, they are signs that you need to pause, to breathe, and to return. Innal afaka tadi. The heart naturally drifts, but Allah's mercy is vast. He calls to the hearts of His servants repeatedly with patience and gentleness, waiting for us to notice and respond. Each day is a new opportunity, each moment a fresh chance to realign your heart with Him. And with this understanding, we begin to step toward the first of our 5 steps, moving from awareness to deliberate, soulful action. We start by recognizing that the struggles we face are not barriers, but invitations, doors opening to greater intimacy with Allah if only we choose to walk through them. As we embrace this awareness, another truth becomes clear. Life is full of distractions, many of which are subtle, almost invisible. Perhaps it is the need to please everyone around us, the constant comparison to others, or the persistent worry about what people think. These distractions may seem harmless, but they quietly pull the heart away from Allah. Imagine carrying a bag filled with small stones, one by one, each worry, each fear, each unnecessary desire. At first, it seems light, but soon the bag becomes heavy, your shoulders ache, and your heart grows weary. This is what happens when the soul is burdened by worldly concerns, when we forget to place our trust fully in Allah. We must remind ourselves, my dear brothers and sisters, that Allah does not demand perfection. He does not ask for flawless worship or for hearts that never stumble. What He asks is sincerity, effort, and return. When you feel distracted, bring your attention back. When you feel weak, turn to Him in dua. When the world seems overwhelming, remind yourself that Allah's knowledge encompasses all, His mercy covers all, and His wisdom is infinite. There is no difficulty too great, no sorrow too heavy, and no moment too small for Him to notice and respond. Consider this. How often do we fail to appreciate the subtle opportunities for connection that surround us daily? Perhaps it is the quiet moments after Fajr prayer, when the world is still and your heart can speak freely. Perhaps it is in the kindness you show to others, the patience you practice in difficult conversations, or the sincerity in your intentions for daily actions. These are not trivial acts. They are the very means through which the heart is drawn closer to Allah. They are the building blocks of faith, small but profound, cumulative and transformative. And so, as we move through the first step in our journey, remember that awareness leads naturally to intention. It is one thing to recognize the distractions, the worries, and the burdens that weigh upon your heart. It is another to consciously choose moment by moment to redirect your focus to Allah. This choice is the essence of faith, the act of returning even when the heart is heavy, even when the mind doubts, even when the soul resists. Each act of conscious return, each effort to realign your thoughts and actions with Allah plants a seed in your heart. And over time, these seeds grow into roots, steady and strong, anchoring your connection with your Creator. Think for a moment about the power of consistency. Small, repeated acts of devotion, reflection, and awareness have a profound effect on the soul. Perhaps you start with a single moment of stillness in the day, or a short period of heartfelt dua, or a conscious effort to remember Allah's presence during routine tasks. These small actions may feel insignificant at first, but like drops of rain falling upon dry soil, they gradually nourish the heart, allowing it to bloom. You may not notice the change immediately, but over time, your heart will feel lighter, your spirit more resilient, and your connection with Allah more intimate. Before we transition to the next chapter, I want you to hold this thought close. The first step toward deepening your connection with Allah is not a grand gesture or a dramatic change. It is the gentle awakening of the heart, the conscious awareness of your distractions, your worries, and your routines, and the deliberate choice to return again and again to your Creator. Each pause, each moment of reflection, each effort to realign your focus is a step forward, and every step matters. In the next chapter, we will explore the practical ways to implement this awareness in daily life, how to face the specific challenges of people, money, and routine without losing your spiritual center. We will see how deliberate action rooted in awareness transforms ordinary moments into opportunities for profound closeness with Allah. The journey continues, and the heart, once awakened, will not remain still. Now that we have begun to awaken the heart through awareness, let us turn our attention to the practical challenges that shape our daily lives. So often, the things we worry about, the people around us, the money we earn, the endless routines we follow become the very walls that distance us from Allah. And yet, if we look closely, these challenges are not obstacles, they are opportunities. Opportunities to practice patience, to strengthen faith, and to transform ordinary struggles into steps closer to our Creator. Consider the people around you, family members, colleagues, neighbors. Each interaction holds potential for both friction and growth. How often do we allow misunderstandings or hurt feelings to cloud our hearts, building walls of resentment that separate us from peace? Imagine carrying anger or frustration for days, even weeks, letting it fester quietly inside. Now imagine releasing it, even for a moment, and entrusting it to Allah. The relief is almost immediate, like the sky clearing after a storm. This is not weakness, it is strength. It is a conscious choice to prioritize the health of your soul over temporary pride or ego. And what about money, livelihood, and financial pressures? These concerns weigh heavily on the heart because they touch our survival, our comfort, and our sense of security. But consider this: every provision we have, every struggle we face to earn it, every moment of uncertainty is under the perfect knowledge of Allah. He has written your rizq, your sustenance, and it will reach you at the precise moment He wills. How often do we forget this truth, running in anxiety as if we alone hold the power to shape our fortunes? When we trust Allah in these moments, we do not ignore responsibility. Rather, we align effort with faith, acknowledging that the outcome rests in His hands. Our daily routines, too, can either be a source of spiritual drought or a garden for growth. We wake up, move through tasks mechanically, and sleep at night with little reflection on how our actions align with our faith. But what if each routine, each act of cooking, cleaning, working, or studying was transformed into a conscious act of worship? What if every small action carried the intention of pleasing Allah, no matter how mundane it seems? This is not an abstract concept. It is a transformative reality for those who live with awareness. The smallest act done with sincerity can become a bridge connecting you to your Creator. Think for a moment about the countless decisions you make every day. Some are major, shaping your life's path, while others are minor, barely noticed. Yet each choice carries weight in the spiritual realm. Do you respond with patience when someone insults you? Do you offer kindness when no one is watching? Do you take a moment to remember Allah when the mind is crowded with worldly thoughts? These are not trivial moments. They are the building blocks of faith. And when practiced consistently, they form a strong, resilient connection with Allah that sustains the heart through trials. And so, the second step in deepening your connection with Allah is deliberate action in daily life. Awareness alone is not enough. It must be coupled with conscious effort. When you face challenging people, respond with patience. When financial pressure mounts, work diligently but trust the outcome to Allah. When routine becomes monotonous, infuse each act with intention and remembrance. These actions, though simple, are profound. They transform ordinary life into a spiritual journey, turning struggles into gateways of closeness and distractions into reminders of divine presence. Pause and reflect. How many moments have passed today without thought of Allah? How many opportunities for patience, for trust, for intention have been overlooked? The good news is that every moment is a fresh chance to return. The heart, once awakened, can redirect itself with a single decision. And with each decision, each conscious choice, the soul grows stronger. The connection with Allah deepens, and life's challenges become less of a burden and more of a path to spiritual elevation. As we continue, let us reflect on the subtle ways our hearts are tested through people and circumstances. It is easy to recognize overt trials, loss, conflict, illness, but much harder to notice the quieter challenges. The colleague who criticizes you unfairly, the neighbor who misunderstands you, the family member who constantly demands more than you feel capable of giving. These moments, though small, chip away at patience and inner peace if left unchecked. Yet they are profound opportunities to draw closer to Allah, if only we respond with mindfulness and grace. Consider the power of intention in these encounters. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, reminded us that deeds are judged by intentions. When someone speaks harshly to you, when someone questions your efforts, when the world seems indifferent to your struggle, remember this: your response is not only about the person in front of you, it is about your relationship with Allah. Each act of patience, each controlled word, each silent prayer offered in that moment becomes a reflection of faith. Imagine the invisible reward of these moments, building quietly like roots beneath the soil, strengthening your heart even when the world sees nothing. Financial challenges are another arena where awareness and deliberate action intersect. Money, while necessary, can often dominate the heart and mind, creating worry, envy, or fear. But remember, Allah is the provider of all sustenance. He has measured your rizq and has written it with perfect wisdom. Our responsibility is effort, to work honestly, to give generously, and to seek lawful means. The worry about not enough dissipates when replaced with trust. A trust that does not negate effort but transforms it into a prayer, a conscious act of reliance upon Allah. How liberating it is to know that our sustenance is not random, that every trial contains a lesson, and that no hardship reaches the heart without purpose. Daily routines, too, are often overlooked as opportunities for connection. Perhaps you wake, perform obligations out of habit, and sleep again without reflecting on the intention behind your actions. But what if you were to infuse these routines with purpose? Washing dishes, folding clothes, walking to work, teaching your children, completing your tasks, all become acts of devotion when done with awareness and sincerity. Imagine the transformative power of performing everyday actions as if Allah is watching, knowing, and accepting. This is not mere theory, it is the very essence of turning the mundane into the sacred. And then there is the power of small, consistent efforts. Some people believe that closeness to Allah requires grand gestures, long nights of worship, complex rituals, or extraordinary acts of charity. But the truth is far simpler. Small, repeated actions done with intention and awareness build a deep, lasting bond. A single prayer performed mindfully, a moment of remembrance, a kind word offered, a patient response, all of these accumulate in the heart, strengthening faith in ways that are subtle but profound. Imagine each act as a drop filling a reservoir. One drop may seem insignificant, but over time, the heart becomes saturated with devotion, and connection with Allah becomes natural, effortless, and deeply fulfilling. As we conclude this section of chapter 2, reflect on the immense power you hold in your daily choices. Awareness without action is incomplete, and action without intention is hollow. But when awareness meets deliberate, purposeful action, every moment becomes a stepping stone toward closeness with Allah. The people around you, the challenges you face, the routines you follow, and the resources you manage, they all become arenas of spiritual growth. And as you navigate these moments with mindfulness, patience, and trust, the heart softens, the soul awakens, and the connection with Allah strengthens. In the next part of our journey, we will explore practical methods to protect your heart from the distractions and anxieties that threaten faith, and how to consistently cultivate a mindful, purposeful relationship with Allah in every area of life. We will see how the ordinary moments of daily living, when guided by intention and awareness, can transform into profound opportunities for spiritual growth. As we reflect further, let us speak about the quiet, almost invisible threats that pull the heart away from Allah, distractions of the mind, constant comparisons with others, and the endless pursuit of approval. These are subtle, yet they erode the soul more slowly and deeply than any overt challenge. We see someone achieving more, earning more, being praised more, and our hearts begin to measure, to envy, to fret. But in reality, the only measure that matters is your effort, your sincerity, and your closeness to Allah. Comparison is the thief of contentment. It blinds us to the blessings we already possess, and it distracts us from the opportunity to grow spiritually in the life Allah has given us. Pause for a moment and consider the simple truth. Your path is yours alone. Others have theirs, and Allah, in His infinite wisdom, knows what is best for each of His servants. Every trial, every moment of success, every setback is tailored to your soul's journey. When you trust this, the petty anxieties of comparison fade. The heart that once quivered with worry begins to find stillness, a quiet assurance that Allah's plan is perfect even when unseen. And in this stillness, the connection with Allah begins to deepen, because the heart is no longer divided. It is focused, present, and fully aware. Let us also consider the small, everyday choices that shape our spiritual life. Perhaps it is the moment you decide to pause before reacting in anger, to offer a kind word instead of a harsh one. Perhaps it is the choice to speak truth even when dishonesty seems easier. Perhaps it is taking a few minutes to remember Allah in the midst of a busy day, to reflect on His mercy, or to seek guidance through dua. These moments may appear insignificant, but they carry immense weight in the spiritual realm. They are the stones that build the bridge connecting your heart to Allah. Now, consider patience and consistency as tools to strengthen your connection. Life will continue to present challenges, people who test your patience, circumstances that challenge your faith, routines that threaten to numb your awareness. Yet, every deliberate act of patience, every effort to maintain sincerity, every moment of remembrance reinforces the bond between you and Allah. It is through this consistency that awareness transforms into habit, and habit transforms into a natural inclination of the heart toward the divine. Finally, my dear brothers and sisters, understand this. Awareness and deliberate action in daily life do not produce immediate perfection. You will stumble, you will grow weary, and there will be days when your heart feels distant. But each return, each conscious effort to align your thoughts and deeds with Allah strengthens the soul and brings you closer. Imagine your heart as a garden. The weeds of distraction and worry will appear, but with patience, attention, and deliberate care, the flowers of faith, trust, and devotion will bloom. Over time, the garden becomes vibrant, fragrant, and alive, a reflection of your connection with your Creator. As we conclude this chapter, remember, the first step was awareness, and the second is deliberate, purposeful action. The journey of faith is not theoretical. It is lived in the small daily decisions, in the conscious effort to turn toward Allah amid the challenges of people, money, and routine. By practicing this consistently, you prepare your heart for deeper reflection, spiritual awakening, and a more profound understanding of trust and divine purpose, the focus of the chapters to come. In the next chapter, we will explore the inner struggles of the heart, how to manage doubt, fear, and anxiety, and learn the practical ways to align the mind and soul with Allah's mercy. We will move closer to understanding how challenges, when approached with the right mindset, become gateways to a more intimate, enduring connection with our Creator. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, let us turn to something that quietly affects every believer, the inner struggles of the heart. These are not always visible to the world, but they weigh heavily on our spirit, doubts that creep in during moments of weakness, fears about the future, and anxieties that make the heart restless even when life appears outwardly fine. Imagine lying awake at night, mind racing, heart heavy, wondering if your efforts are enough, if your prayers are accepted, if your faith is truly strong. These moments are not failures, they are invitations, opportunities for the heart to turn inward and reconnect with Allah. Many of us try to silence these feelings by distraction. We scroll through our phones, immerse ourselves in work, or lose ourselves in worldly entertainment. And while these distractions may temporarily dull the worry, they never heal the heart. The soul does not respond to avoidance, it responds to attention, reflection, and sincere connection. Think of your heart as a garden. Ignoring weeds does not make them disappear. They continue to grow. Only through mindful care, patience, and nurturing does the garden flourish. Similarly, the heart flourishes when it confronts doubts and fears, placing them in the light of Allah's wisdom, mercy, and guidance. Consider for a moment the power of reflection. When doubt arises, instead of resisting it or feeling ashamed, ask yourself, why does this doubt exist? What is it telling me about my reliance on Allah, my trust in His plan, or my understanding of my purpose? Doubt, when acknowledged and approached with sincerity, becomes a doorway to clarity. Fear, when examined through the lens of faith, becomes a lesson in trust. Anxiety, when placed in the hands of Allah, transforms into serenity. This is not abstract theory, it is lived experience, proven repeatedly in the lives of the prophets and the pious before us. We must also remember the value of patience in these inner struggles. Patience does not mean passive waiting. It means consciously choosing to endure with hope, to maintain faith even when the heart trembles, and to keep returning to Allah moment after moment. Imagine the weight lifted when you surrender your anxieties to Him, trusting that what He has written for you is perfect, even if it is unseen. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, demonstrated this throughout his life. Trials came to him not as punishments, but as opportunities to show unwavering trust, to model patience, and to draw hearts closer to Allah through example. Another powerful tool is remembrance dhikr, the simple act of recalling Allah's names, reflecting on His mercy, and speaking to Him in dua can transform the state of the heart. When anxiety rises, when doubt creeps in, when fear threatens to overwhelm, remembrance acts as a balm. Imagine standing in a storm, feeling the wind and rain, and then hearing a voice calling you to shelter. That voice, that presence, that reassurance is what remembrance provides, a direct, intimate connection with the one who controls all things. And let us not forget gratitude. Even in moments of struggle, even when the heart feels heavy, there are blessings to be recognized. Perhaps it is the health you have, the roof over your head, the relationships that bring joy, or even the small comforts of daily life. Gratitude transforms perspective. It shifts the focus from what is lacking to what is present, from despair to hope, from restlessness to contentment. And when combined with awareness, deliberate action, patience, and remembrance, gratitude strengthens the soul in ways that are profound and enduring. As we move forward in this chapter, remember that managing the inner struggles of the heart is not about eliminating doubt or fear entirely. It is about acknowledging them, reflecting upon them, and deliberately placing them in the hands of Allah. Each conscious step, each moment of reflection, and each act of trust becomes part of the 5 steps we are learning to deepen our connection with Him. Through this awareness, action, patience, remembrance, and gratitude, the heart gradually learns to find peace even in the midst of uncertainty. As we continue, my dear brothers and sisters, it is important to recognize that the heart's restlessness often mirrors the challenges of the world around us. The pressures of life expectations from family, demands at work, social comparisons, financial concerns can easily magnify the internal struggles we already carry. When the heart is untrained, even small external stresses can feel overwhelming. But when the heart is disciplined, aware, and grounded in trust, these same pressures become opportunities to practice patience, to exercise intention, and to draw closer to Allah. Imagine walking through a crowded market, a place full of noise, bustle, and distraction. Your mind races, your attention fragments, and the world seems overwhelming. Now imagine walking through that same market with your heart anchored in Allah, your focus mindful, your presence deliberate. The difference is profound. In the first scenario, the chaos controls you. In the second, you navigate the chaos while maintaining a calm, centered heart. Life, too, is like this market. The world will always present distractions, challenges, and unexpected turns. The key is how we navigate it with awareness, intention, and reliance upon Allah. External challenges often reveal the depth of our faith. A difficult conversation with a family member, a sudden financial setback, or a stressful situation at work can feel unbearable if faced without spiritual grounding. But when the heart is prepared, these moments become mirrors, reflecting how strong our connection with Allah truly is. Do we respond with patience or frustration, with trust or anxiety, with reflection or reaction? Each choice, no matter how small, builds the foundation of a heart attuned to its Creator. Trust, my dear brothers and sisters, is a profound component of spiritual resilience. True trust is not passive, it is active. It does not mean ignoring responsibility or neglecting effort. Rather, it means engaging with life fully while continuously acknowledging that the outcome rests with Allah. Imagine planting a seed, watering it diligently, providing sunlight, and caring for it each day. You do all that you can, but the growth itself is beyond your control. Similarly, we do our part in life, working, learning, helping others, managing responsibilities, while placing the ultimate trust in Allah's wisdom, timing, and plan. Gratitude remains a constant companion in facing external pressures. In moments of difficulty, it is easy to focus solely on what is lacking, what has gone wrong, or what feels unfair. But a heart that consciously recognizes blessings, however small, remains anchored, resilient, and at peace. Gratitude does not erase hardship, it shifts perspective. It illuminates the hidden mercy and guidance embedded even in the trials we face. By combining trust, patience, and gratitude, the believer transforms the challenges of life into pathways of spiritual growth, turning every obstacle into an opportunity to deepen closeness with Allah. Finally, consider how external and internal struggles intersect. When the heart is aware, deliberate, and reflective, external pressures no longer dominate. They are seen as part of the divine tapestry, each thread carefully woven with wisdom. The anxious mind, the restless heart, the demands of the world, all are held lightly, surrendered to Allah, and engaged with purpose. This is not an instant transformation. It is a gradual awakening, a steady strengthening of the soul that continues with every conscious act, every prayer, every moment of remembrance. As chapter 3 closes, let this reflection settle in your heart. Inner struggles and external challenges are not obstacles to faith, they are invitations. They call us to awareness, to deliberate action, to patience, to remembrance, and to gratitude. They prepare the heart for the deeper reflections of spiritual awakening that we will explore in chapter 4. Trust in Allah's plan, the beauty of reliance upon Him, and the serene hope found in surrendering fully to the divine. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, we enter a realm of the heart that many long for but few truly experience: spiritual awakening. This is the stage where the soul begins to perceive the divine presence in every breath, every action, and every circumstance. It is not dramatic or loud, it is quiet, profound, and deeply moving. Imagine waking in the early hours of the morning, the world still, the air crisp, your heart alert yet calm, and realizing that Allah has been with you in every moment you were unaware. That realization, that intimacy with the Creator is the essence of awakening. Spiritual awakening begins with trust. Trust not in what the eyes see or the fleeting assurances of this world, but in Allah, the one whose knowledge encompasses all things. How often do we feel anxiety over the unknown, worry about the future, or despair over circumstances beyond our control, and yet Allah reminds us in the Quran, and rely upon Allah, and sufficient is Allah as disposer of affairs. The heart that trusts sees beyond the immediate discomfort and recognizes the divine wisdom orchestrating every moment. This trust is not passive resignation, it is active reliance, a conscious choice to place your heart, mind and soul in the hands of one who never errs. Think of the life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Even in the most challenging times, the battles, the losses, the betrayals, he demonstrated unwavering trust in Allah. He knew that every hardship, every delay, every test carried a lesson, a blessing, and an opportunity to draw nearer to Allah. And so must we learn. Trust is cultivated through reflection, through awareness of Allah's mercy in the past, and through surrender in the present. It is the understanding that even when outcomes seem unfavorable, the divine plan is perfect and relief may already be written before the heart even knows to ask. Spiritual awakening also involves recognizing the transient nature of this world. So often, our hearts cling to possessions, achievements, and recognition, thinking they define our value or bring lasting peace. But true serenity emerges when we see the world as it truly is, a place of testing, of preparation, of fleeting moments meant to guide us toward the eternal. Imagine walking along a river, fascinated by the beauty of its surface, only to realize that beneath lies the source, the origin, the steady current guiding the flow. Similarly, our worldly pursuits are fleeting, but when aligned with divine intention, they guide us toward a deeper connection with Allah. Another key aspect of awakening is reflection on the afterlife. When the heart contemplates the temporality of this world and the permanence of what lies beyond, priorities shift naturally. The daily anxieties, petty disputes, and transient desires lose their grip on the heart. The believer begins to live with intention, measuring actions not by fleeting satisfaction, but by eternal significance. Imagine performing a simple act of kindness today, fully aware that Allah has witnessed it and that it carries weight far beyond what you see. This awareness transforms life from routine to purposeful living, infusing each moment with spiritual depth. And finally, awakening brings a profound sense of hope and mercy. The heart begins to perceive that no matter how far it strays, how often it falters, or how heavy the burdens it carries, Allah's mercy remains vast and encompassing. The believer approaches life with both humility and courage, understanding that mistakes are opportunities for return, trials are lessons in disguise, and every step toward Allah is recognized and cherished. Imagine walking through a desert, exhausted and parched, only to suddenly find an oasis, refreshing, life-giving, and sustaining. Spiritual awakening allows the heart to experience this oasis continually, even amid life's deserts. As we continue this chapter, we will explore practical ways to cultivate this awakening, how to anchor trust in daily life, and how to allow hope and reflection on the afterlife to guide your choices, actions, and emotions. The journey of the heart, once awakened, leads naturally into serenity, purpose, and a closeness with Allah that transforms not just moments, but the very fabric of existence. As we delve deeper, my dear brothers and sisters, let us reflect on the role of trust in transforming the heart. Trust in Allah is not merely a concept we speak about. It is a living, breathing practice that colors every action, every thought, and every choice. When a storm comes into your life, a sudden loss, an unexpected challenge, or a disappointment that shakes your plans, trust acts as an anchor. It prevents the heart from drifting aimlessly in fear or despair. Imagine standing in the middle of a raging storm and yet feeling calm because you know the Creator who governs the winds, the waves, and every element surrounding you. That is the power of trust. But how do we cultivate such trust when the heart feels weak, when doubts creep in, and when uncertainty surrounds us? First, we remember the countless instances in our own lives where Allah's mercy and guidance were evident. Perhaps it was a moment of relief after a hardship, an unexpected opportunity that solved a problem, or the quiet resolution of a worry that seemed insurmountable. Reflection on these moments builds faith. It teaches the heart that even when the path seems unclear, Allah's hand is at work, unseen but always present. Next, trust requires surrender, not in a passive sense, but in conscious acceptance of divine wisdom. Surrender does not mean giving up effort. It means combining diligence with reliance. You work sincerely, make wise decisions, and strive with all your ability, but you recognize that outcomes belong to Allah alone. Imagine a farmer tending to his crops. He plants, waters, and nurtures, yet he cannot command the rain, the sun, or the growth itself. The farmer trusts that nature will take its course while he fulfills his responsibility. So too, the believer trusts Allah while engaging fully with life. Hope is another essential companion to trust. A heart anchored in hope sees beyond present difficulties, looking toward mercy, guidance, and eventual relief. Hope allows the believer to rise after setbacks, to continue striving despite failures, and to believe that no matter how heavy the burden, Allah's compassion remains vast. Consider the stories of the prophets. They faced immense trials, yet their hope in Allah never wavered. Job, peace be upon him, endured profound loss, yet maintained hope and patience, and Allah restored his life in ways beyond imagination. The same hope is available to us if only we choose to nurture it. Reflection on the afterlife further deepens the heart's perspective. When we understand that this world is temporary and that the eternal life to come is our true abode, the trials and distractions of this world lose their overwhelming power. Every hardship becomes an opportunity for purification. Every act of obedience a preparation for the eternal home. Imagine looking at a distant mountain and realizing that the climb, however difficult, leads to a breathtaking view. The effort is worth it because the destination is permanent. The believer approaches life with the same understanding, measuring actions not by immediate satisfaction but by their eternal significance. Finally, spiritual awakening requires the integration of these elements: trust, hope, reflection, and surrender into daily life. It is not enough to feel inspired once in a quiet moment. The heart must carry this awareness into every interaction, every decision, and every challenge. Imagine your daily routine: waking, working, interacting with others as a canvas. Each choice, each intention, each act of patience and remembrance becomes a brushstroke painting the picture of a life deeply connected to Allah. The external world may remain unchanged, but the internal world, the heart, transforms profoundly. As we approach the next part of chapter 4, we will explore practical ways to sustain this spiritual awakening, ensuring that trust, hope, and reflection remain alive in the heart, even amidst the constant demands and trials of life. We will see how conscious effort, combined with surrender, turns every moment into an opportunity for closeness with Allah, shaping not just the heart, but the life itself. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, we arrive at the final stage of our journey, the ultimate culmination of awakening, trust, and reflection. This is the point where the heart begins to fully embrace Allah's divine plan, where the believer understands that every moment, every challenge, every blessing is part of a greater wisdom that may remain unseen, yet is perfectly orchestrated. Imagine a tapestry, intricate and vast, each thread representing events, choices, and moments in your life. You may see only a small section, yet Allah sees the full picture. And within that picture, every trial and blessing carries meaning, purpose, and guidance. To embrace the divine plan, we must first release the illusion of control. So often, we cling to outcomes, believing that the world should conform to our desires. When reality deviates from expectation, the heart feels unsettled, restless, or even betrayed. But consider this: the one who created the universe, who governs the stars, the oceans, and the smallest leaf, also governs your life. His wisdom is beyond comprehension. By consciously surrendering control, the heart finds relief, the mind finds clarity, and the soul experiences peace. Trust is not passive, it is an active, deliberate act of surrender, acknowledging that Allah's plan is perfect even when we cannot see it. Reflection on the afterlife brings this surrender into sharp focus. This world, with all its beauty, challenges, and distractions, is temporary. The eternal life that awaits is the true home, and every choice we make prepares us for that destination. Imagine a traveler packing carefully for a journey that will last forever, understanding that the comforts of the present moment are fleeting. Each prayer offered with sincerity, each act of kindness, each moment of patience and gratitude is a provision for that journey. The awakened heart aligns its priorities with eternity, not fleeting satisfaction. Hope and mercy are inseparable companions in this stage. Even when life feels heavy, even when trials press relentlessly, the believer remembers that Allah's mercy encompasses all things. No mistake is beyond forgiveness, no failure too great for His grace, and no moment wasted when it is redirected toward Him. Hope becomes a shield against despair, a light in darkness, and a guide for action. The heart that trusts in mercy moves forward courageously, knowing that every sincere step is recognized, every struggle has purpose, and every prayer carries weight in ways unseen. Consider also the power of intentional living. By embracing Allah's plan, the believer transforms ordinary actions into profound acts of worship. Feeding the hungry, speaking kindly, offering guidance, performing daily responsibilities with sincerity, all become vessels through which the heart connects with Allah. Life is no longer a series of disconnected events, but a flowing, integrated practice of faith. Each act, no matter how small, is imbued with intention, awareness, and devotion, building a life that reflects the heart's awakening and alignment with divine wisdom. Finally, the awakened, surrendered heart experiences profound serenity. It is not that challenges disappear or that worry ceases entirely. Rather, the perspective shifts. Life is no longer measured solely by outcomes or appearances, but by connection, intention, and submission. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean, feeling the waves rise and fall, knowing you cannot control them, yet sensing the calm of the shore beneath your feet. This is the serenity of surrender, the deep peace of faith, and the enduring joy of closeness to Allah. As we conclude this journey, remember this: your connection with Allah is both your refuge and your strength. Awareness, deliberate action, patience, remembrance, gratitude, trust, hope, reflection, and surrender. These steps practiced consistently transform the heart, the mind, and the life itself. Life will continue to bring challenges, joys, trials, and blessings, yet the heart that has walked this path remains centered, resilient, and intimately connected to the Creator. Carry these lessons with you, apply them in every moment, and know that the journey of the heart is ongoing. Each day is an opportunity to return, to awaken, and to deepen your connection with Allah. Let this journey not end with the listening of these words, but begin anew in your daily life, guiding every thought, choice, and action toward the divine. You are now prepared to live with awareness, purpose, and hope, trusting that every moment is part of Allah's perfect plan, and that your heart, once awakened, will continue to grow, shine, and find peace in His presence. As we come to the close of this reminder, my dear brothers and sisters, take a moment to reflect on the journey we have shared. We began by awakening the heart, becoming aware of distractions, worries, and routines that pull us away from Allah. We moved through deliberate action, learning to align our daily choices with intention and sincerity. We faced the inner struggles of doubt, fear, and anxiety, and discovered the strength of patience, remembrance, and gratitude. We opened our hearts to spiritual awakening, trust, hope, and reflection on the eternal life. And finally, we embraced Allah's divine plan, surrendering fully, nurturing serenity, and living intentionally with connection and purpose. Remember this, every moment is an opportunity. Every hardship carries wisdom. Every act of sincerity, no matter how small, is recognized by Allah. The journey of the heart does not end here. Each day, each breath, each decision is a chance to deepen your connection with your Creator, to live consciously, and to approach life with faith, hope, and love. Do not wait for perfection to begin. Begin where you are with what you have. Take these 5 steps not as a one-time effort, but as a lifelong path. Practice awareness, act with intention, trust in Allah, cultivate hope, and embrace surrender. Let your heart be your guide, let your soul remain attentive, and let every moment reflect your devotion. And remember, my dear brothers and sisters, that the mercy of Allah is vast, His wisdom infinite, and His guidance constant. You are never alone. Even in your struggles, even in your doubts, Allah is with you, listening, watching, guiding, and loving. Let this truth anchor your heart, inspire your actions, and illuminate your path. Go forward with faith, act with sincerity, and live with intention. May Allah strengthen your heart, purify your soul, and draw you ever closer to Him. Let this journey of awareness, trust, and surrender continue every day, shaping not just your moments, but your very life. May every prayer, every act of patience, every moment of remembrance, and every step you take bring you nearer to the one who knows you best, loves you most, and is always waiting for you to return. Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah.